Could you eat like a full watermelon a day?
I'd probably end up drinking the juice of a full watermelon a day.
Wow.
Cheers, bro.
Cheers for good day.
Welcome to Costa Rica.
Thank you.
Those kind of watermelons obviously don't exist in nature. There's a lot less fruit flesh in natural watermelons, which essentially don't even exist anymore on this earth, seeing as they have been cultivated so heavily. Point being, you would not be able to consume this much sugar, and obviously you can't juice fruit in nature, which is why it is of course abnormal to start your day off with a huge glass of watermelon juice. It's not the worst thing on earth that you could drink. It's hydrating, which is great compared to tea, coffee, even plain water, which is what most people drink today. This is still a lot better in that sense, but of course it's also not natural anymore. Needless to say, but people don't get this.
When you eat more calories, your body just says, oh yes, it's a signal of abundance. Your thyroid works more, your body temperature goes up, your resting metabolic rate goes up, and you just kind of like, you use all of that energy to do all the cellular repair and the rebuilding and the stuff that you maybe weren't doing. Historically, humans have always eaten the whole animal. They don't cut off all this fat.
For sure, if your body is asking for a lot of food, then you should eat it. It's just that if your body is asking for this food because you work out all day, then that's where you're wrong. That's not what you should be doing.
They don't cut off all this connective tissue. They're gonna eat all this. Be my meat, bro.
We kind of start our days the same way, I guess. Oh,
Right,
baby.
bro. Look at that. Let's
Wow.
lower it for you, make it easy.
I call that back piece.
What's up?
Wow. Oh.
I mean, if you look at the, it's like so clear if you look at the medical literature, there is not a single study giving someone fruit or fruit juice that shows endothelial dysfunction or inflammation. In fact, the reverse. Orange juice improves endothelial function, decreases lipid peroxidation, decreases oxidative stress, decreases DNA damage. Watermelon juice, grape juice, pomegranate juice. So there's so many good studies with fruit. Listen, I used to fear fruit, and then I was like, oh man, I was so wrong.
Eat your fruit.
This looks like egg.
Nothing wrong with eating fruits in general. I eat fruits myself. But when you're over-consuming all of these man-made fruits, none of this exists in nature, you're getting a lot of sugar. So much sugar that it would be impossible for you to ever get this much in nature, not even by consuming a lot of honey. That's the huge difference here. I assume that he gets his fruits from pretty good sources in Costa Rica, I guess. That's probably where he is. Without all of the pesticides, maybe? I assume, I hope so. I think that he's aware of that. That's already great. That's one of the biggest problems with the fruits of today. All of the pesticides. In general, the plants are full of herbicides, all of this garbage. It's like consuming antibiotics.
It's got some local raw kefir. This is goat's milk kefir.
When I heard raw dairy, I thought we were going to get under an udder or something.
Goat's milk is usually easier to digest for people compared to cow's milk. And it's also not as high in calcium, whereas cow's milk is very high, too high.
Well, a lot of interesting stuff, right?
This gym looks like it was built to expose me. Oh my God, there's so much mobility stuff. So what's your approach to your fitness?
Basically surfing every day for 2 to 3 hours.
I wonder why he does all of the exercise. Obviously, it's aging and stressing his body incredibly much. Does he believe that he needs to do that? I could understand why he surfs. Surfing could be fun. I've never done it before, but it looks like it could be sort of fun. You know, as fun as unnatural activities can be. At least you're in the water. Usually there's sunlight. It's a way better so-called activity than most of the stupid sports out there today. But then he also does all kinds of other stuff which is completely useless, such as just running around for no reason. Okay, he sprints, at least he doesn't run marathons or doesn't jog, as far as I know, which is way worse. But still, he's stressing his body incredibly much, and that's the reason why he consumes so many carbohydrates. Nothing wrong with consuming carbohydrates, nothing wrong with sugar as such, but as I said, in nature it would be very hard to get this much sugar. In nature, realistically, if you would be eating fresh animals and maybe get some fruits here and there, you would be consuming, 30 to 100 grams maximum of sugar in a day. It would be very rare that you would consume any more. most of the time you would be eating a low carbohydrate diet. He eats a lot of carbohydrates, too many from a natural perspective, simply because he's active all day long. His body is stressed all day long. And I understand why he consumes so many carbohydrates, of course, because of the constant stress. That's why he drinks the fruit juices. I can totally relate, because back when I used to go to the gym, I drank fruit juices myself, and it helped. But all that it did in the end is stress and age my body. I drank a lot more. I consumed tons of carbohydrates, way more than I do now. I don't need really many now.
Yeah, surfing for me, it probably is the best pineapple you've ever had in your life.
Why?
And these bananas are different than any banana you've ever had.
Usually I'm self-conscious around banana.
It's better if you want to drink fruit juices to add some kind of fat to it, such as egg yolks to the orange juice. If anything, then that's how I drink it. It's so that you don't absorb the sugar as quickly, by the way, in case you didn't know. Your blood sugar may rise pretty quickly if you drink pure fruit juices.
So do you think with what you're doing, I think with the diet, all your other like red light stuff, how many years do you think you're adding to your life?
I don't think about that. I think about how good the years are while I'm living them.
That's good, but it's also funny how he asks him about adding years to his life. I'm pretty sure that Paul Saladino is aware enough of himself that he knows that he's reducing his lifespan because of this lifestyle. His diet is really good, way better than the way 99% of people on Earth eat. Of course, I don't promote cooking the food, but still he eats very good quality meat. Even the fruits that he eats are very good quality, but he does exercise and stress his body way too much. No matter what you eat, the food can never make up for it.
Whoa.
Scale of 1 to 10.
That's a 10.
Some people juice that for bromelain, a digestive enzyme, but it just...
Isn't that good for your sperm too?
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure it makes it taste better.
Maybe.
On a normal day, Paul will go surfing multiple times a day, possibly do some cliff jumping, and even go skateboarding in his backyard.
Yes, and the reason he does this, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I haven't heard about it, but from what I know, he doesn't have a family, he doesn't have any children. If he does, then they are not there, and that's why he does that. This is not a normal man's life, this is a slave's life, and that should be clearly understood. No offense to him whatsoever, but he's living like an absolute slave. He surfs, okay, as I said, maybe fun now and then, but he surfs basically all day, every day, from what I understand. And then he skates around. I used to skate here and there. Yeah, I get it, but all of the time, that's because he has nothing to do in his life. He's obsessed with food, and it's great that he's educating people. The information that he shares is really valuable. Again, I'm not trying to offend him or anybody who follows him. I'm simply pointing out that he's living this life because he doesn't have children or any actual meaning in his life. Naturally speaking, he's living an absolutely empty and meaningless life. That's why he has time all day long to do worthless garbage. That's how I see it. It is nothing. He's doing nothing all day long. And it's sad that he's living such a pathetic life, but at least he eats good food. And that's the most important part about his channel. At least he's really educating people about food. He still doesn't understand the raw food part, but overall, most of everything he absolutely gets. Yeah, it's sad.
But unfortunately,
we've been stranded in the kitchen all day because it's pouring outside. It just stopped, but it's dinner time. On to the next activity. We are grinding our own meat for dinner, which is super cool.
I can grind in organs, so I got some heart, and I can just grind in some heart into the ground beef. You can
That's pretty cool, and the fat on the meat looks super yellow. Probably really good quality meat.
grind. You
You should
can
have told me that. You should have just like...
Don't worry, it's just steak.
It's pretty crazy. It's like 5:15. I feel like I haven't had an insane amount of food today, but I feel quite satisfied, and my energy's been like pretty
Solid?
Yeah.
Yeah, and guess what happens when you eat nutrient-rich food and you don't eat foods that are kind of sabotaging your metabolism?
How long does it take someone, do you think, on average, to like adjust and like notice the benefits of something like this?
I think you'd feel it in a few days, but I think probably, a couple weeks you'd really notice.
Well, this is fun. This is great.
Then you can see it coming out here.
The fat coming out is so satisfying.
Yeah.
How many burgers is this making, 2?
That's like, 1.5 for me and you.
Alright, so there's no soap in here, right?
Just use baking soda.
How'd you, what, just use baking soda?
I hate hand soap and like all the fragrances and the crazy colors and stuff.
You don't want it to smell like lab.
Yeah, exactly, and that stuff also actually enters your bloodstream. Very, very small amounts, but it adds up if you use this garbage all of the time. Soaps, shampoos, everything.
Lavender and...
Down. All right, there
How
it
many
is.
calories are in that?
In that burger, 700, 800.
Oh my god!
Yeah, gotta be.
That's giving me anxiety.
It's so good for you.
Oh, I'm getting like shivers.
The problem for us comes when we put mayonnaise with seed oils or ketchup with processed sugar or foods that we eat with this that kind of confuse our society. Like, maybe you wouldn't have to eat the whole burger.
It would be 800 calories if you would eat them raw. Of course, if you cook them, you destroy the protein for one thing, which is part of the calories, which is why, depending on how much you cook it, you may get 80% of that, cook it more, 60% and so on. The more you cook it, the more you destroy it.
Just be eating the burger at a reasonable pace and you think, oh, I'm good, I'm full.
He doesn't actually show anything different in his videos whatsoever. That's why he also never changes. Like, how can you change if you actually don't learn anything new? But at the end of the day, it's just all the same because Will doesn't want to learn, cannot learn, is too close-minded. I don't know what's wrong with him. As I said, he's a typical brainwashed Canadian. Thanks for watching, guys.